In this video, I'm going to talk about karma and the saying, we are all one. Now, recently, I've been doing a lot of inner reflecting, and I've really come to believe that after everything that I've experienced, I have a little bit of a different belief than the majority of spiritual people out there, to the point where I was questioning what was the point in continuing making my channel. However, I thought, you know what? I'm going to continue. If you're new to my channel, you know, in 2014, I attempted to take my life by starting my Karma Garage, and Archangel Michael appeared. And in 2020, I started having visitations from the soul of Jesus, other angels, even Lucifer, ET beings. And I've had out-of-body experiences where my guides showed me sacred geometry that basically represented all of our reality. And I got to connect with basically all of the oneness. And you know, I've seen a lot of crazy shit, and I have to be honest that I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the mainstream spiritual teachings out there. I'm going to show you guys a diagram. Let's pretend that the top sun represents God, and you could just consider all these circles with lines to be souls, okay? Now the top represents source, love, whatever, high dimension, you know, where it's all peace and love, hippie stuff, right? And what happens is, because after my visitation from the soul of Jesus on October 20, 2020, I remember floating through the cosmos, and you come to a point where it's like a fork in the road, and you have to choose. Do you want to incarnate into realities where you do not have 100% free will, which means that they're high vibrational and super peaceful and loving? Or do you want to go into free will zones where some of them are balanced, some of them are high vibe and loving, but you know, there's planets like Earth that Archangel Michael called ascended masters and light workers to come here because it's so out of balance. And so what happens is, you can see here, once your soul goes into these free will zones, you know, you're really signing your name on the dotted line, and you're risking it all, because the mentality you take from this life is basically the consciousness you take into the afterlife. Okay, I've left my body, I've gone to their side, I didn't want to come back, and I was like, fuck that, I don't want to go back. You know, you think you leave your body and you become this peaceful, loving hippie. No, you are what you make of yourself in this life. That's why it's so important to open up your heart. So when you enter into the free will zone, you can see all the suns below. You know, you have the free will to be loving and expand as you go, or you can basically take the other route, which is where you hang on to anger and negativity, right? So let's say you become one of these black souls, right? Now we're talking about karma here. So if one of these black souls start disrupting enough of these red souls, which are more peaceful and loving, because God is watching the whole time, it can get to a point where he says enough is enough. Now there's this belief that when it comes to karma, some people are starting to say that karma is not real, and I've heard this for a while now. Let's say you throw your ice cream at someone's head for no reason, right? Just because you think it'd be funny. Now, if you think that you're going to get karma because you threw your ice cream at someone's head, then yes, it's going to be magnified. However, it doesn't really matter what you believe. If you do that, that energy is coming back to you regardless. It's kind of like saying, if you believe in gravity, then it's real, but if you don't, then it's not. You know, I know a shamanic woman who was sending me death spells that had her son find out just how real gravity was, you know. So it doesn't really matter if you believe in karma. You know, I've experienced karma as a child, and I didn't know anything about karma back then, and that was from a previous life. There's a lot of spiritual teachers out there that won't tell you that karma continues on to other lives, but I disagree because I've experienced it firsthand. Regardless on whether or not you believe in karma, the energy is coming back to you. Now, in regards to we are all one, if you look at the bottom part of this picture, we talked about the darker souls down here that are basically the opposite of what God represents, right? When people say that we are all one, you know, you have to go back up to the source love part of this diagram, because in the free will zone, you know, the, we're not necessarily all one. We came from the one, but that reality where we splintered off from the one is not the reality we're experiencing down here on planet Earth. And everybody in the spiritual community wants to say, oh, you attract what you believe, or you attract your energy. In the last 10 years, I've worked with a woman who was sending me death spells and tried to kill me because she was jealous. I didn't believe that there was women out there that would do that. And I didn't think that there was women out there that were that crazy. And my energy didn't reflect that. I had a woman put arsenic in my drink after 3 months of hanging out and introducing her to my son. She tried to kill me. Did I believe that there was people out there that would kill you if you've had nothing but fun together? No, I did not. Did my energy reflect that? No, it did not. Wasn't the story I was telling myself. Okay, God has plans for his light workers, and he'll put you in the path of certain individuals that need to build up karma so he can get them out, or teach them a lesson, or give them the opportunity to open up their heart and grow. You're not always a reflection of the people you bring in. And down here in the free will zone, the more light you give off, the more, I was going to say cockroaches, but the more unhealed people that you will attract. Okay? It's not a reflection of you. Is a moth a reflection of the light that it's attracted to? I want to tell you a little bit about some of the angels and their mentality that are looking out for you. Now, if you were to hire a bodyguard, okay, you hire a guy, walks around with a Glock, and his job is to protect you, right? Now, one time you're walking and this guy comes up to you, starts giving you problems, and you know your bodyguard, your security is right beside you. And all of a sudden he's just like, to the guy that's giving you problems, he's like, oh, I love you. And you're like, what? And then he's like, I love you too. And then the guy keeps giving you problems, and you're like, hey, what's going on here? And you're like, oh, I just love everybody. This is so beautiful. Like, look at him, he's angry. So beautiful. It's kind of inappropriate, right? And some of the angels that are watching out for us when we're in this 3D reality don't even understand swear words, because it's so much of a low vibrational language that when they hear it, it doesn't even compute. So it's like you got a bodyguard who doesn't even understand. This reality and the reality up there is very different. And you know, when I had an out-of-body experience and my guides and angels took me to see this sacred geometry that represented all of this reality, when I came back to my body, I was like, that mentality is bullshit down here. And this is why this reality is the way it is because it's all love and light up there. Have you ever seen that movie Dexter, where he goes out taking out serial killers? That's what we need up there. We need more of that. We need more of the Lord Shiva. Like, okay, you know, if there's 100 goldfish and one goldfish starts eating 30 other goldfish, you know, you could just be like, well, I love you, and you know, or you could take that fucking goldfish out for love of the other goldfish, right? So, you know, we are all one, but you can separate from God so much in this reality that you tick him off and he decides it's time for you to leave. Just keep that in mind. You can think that you can hide from karma, but you can't.